According to the news page on PETA.org, you save more water by not eating a pound of meat than you do by not showering for 6 months. Today, I want to inform you about the production and consumption of beef products and how it impacts the environment and your personal health. According to the USDA's food availability data from 2019, the average American consumes about 55 pounds of beef per year. That's more than a pound a week. Whether you're a beef eater or not, this high level of consumption can definitely impact your life. I'm from Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, the Twin Cities, and plenty of farmland. Minnesotans put a high value on their meat and potatoes, and my dad always says, if there's no meat on the plate, it's a snack, not a meal. Until about a year ago, myself and my family definitely consumed our fair share of beef. Tacos, spaghetti, burgers, steaks, pot roast, meatballs, and of course, tater tot hot dish, a staple in a Minnesota's diet. Then I learned some information that gave me a new perspective on eating beef, and I'm going to share it with you today. First, I'm going to explain how beef is prepared for human consumption. Second, I'm going to discuss how being conscious of what you're consuming can have lifelong effects on your overall health. And third, I'm going to tell you how the food that you eat has an impact on the environment. Today, I'll provide you with knowledge about the impact of human beef consumption, and then you could decide what to do with it. According to a research article published in Nutrition Today by Sarah Place and Amy Murdahl, it was based on the USDA census in 2017. Beef is the single largest segment of the U.S. agriculture, as cow-calf operations represents 36% of U.S. farms. So what exactly happens on 1/3 of all farms in our country? These cows stay on the farmland for anywhere from 18 to 22 months until they're about 1,200 to 1,400 pounds. That's a long time for someone to have to take care of a cow. There's feed and there's water and there's the land that it takes. So all said and done, it takes a lot of resources just to raise one calf into a cow to be produced for human consumption. An article on worldwildlife.org about the beef industry sums up the process of raising cattle for human consumption by stating, beef production requires a lot of land, water, and energy and generates considerable waste. It is thus essential to improve its sustainability globally. Sustainability isn't the only factor to consider when discussing the impact of beef consumption. Your personal health should also be considered. You've likely heard both sides of the argument. Some say it's good for you, some say it's not. So what's the correct answer? In an article from Harvard Medical School written for health.harvard.edu, Dr. Frank Hu, who is the chair of the Department of Nutrition, states that an accumulated body of evidence shows a clear link between high intake of red and processed meats and a higher risk for heart disease, cancer, and even premature death. Dr. Hu says that the key word there is high, and goes on to explain that a general recommendation is that people should stick to no more than 2 to 3 servings per week. When I first decided to cut back on my beef intake, I thought it was going to be really hard. After about a month, I was down to 1 serving of beef per week, and I definitely felt the difference very quickly. I was less bloated, my skin was clearer, and I felt like I was doing better for my family. According to an article on worldwildlife.org about the beef industry, more agricultural land is used to raise cattle than all other domesticated animals and crops combined. Protecting our environment has become a global initiative, but it can be difficult to grasp the idea that you, as one single person, can actually do something that makes a difference. But you can. According to an article on denverwater.org, it takes approximately 1,847 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef. That's enough water to fill 39 bathtubs all the way to the top. Water scarcity is real in many parts of the world, so any opportunity that you take to cut back on your water usage is going to make a difference. According to the article on worldwildlife.org, waste from beef slaughterhouses in the leather industry are highly polluting. Livestock farming is one of the main contributors to soil erosion around the world, and beef production has a considerable effect on climate change due to the emissions of greenhouse gases. However, there is a solution, and no, it's not to convince everybody to stop eating beef. There are sustainable ways to raise cattle and produce beef that can benefit the environment. On their website, the World Wildlife Organization explains that initial research shows that there are a number of best management practices that, if adopted broadly, can measurably reduce environmental impacts. As the population continues to grow on our planet, adopting sustainable methods is imperative to protecting our planet and its inhabitants. Today, I've discussed how cattle is raised for human consumption, how eating beef affects your overall health, and how beef production and consumption impacts the environment. I hope I've expanded your knowledge on the effects of eating beef and helped you understand the sustainable options.